Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, welcome back to the Snippet Podcast, episode 14 with myself, Raf, and as always, I'm joined by my brother in the game, my co-host, JB.
Yo, what's going on, people? Good to be back again. Yeah, man, what are we talking about today, Raf?
We're going to be talking about mobile communication devices, aka smartphones, mobile phones. The topic is, are we using them too much? So we're just going to be going over the whole gist of how phones have developed over the years, what they do, and are they slowly changing the way we live our daily lives? Obviously, that may seem a bit evident to everyone, and that could be just a simple yes, but we're going to go a little bit deeper into it, and we're going to show Wagwan.
Yep, just going to have a little waffle about phones, basically. So, you know, we're going to try and keep it interesting, but if you're not, then you can click off, innit?
Welcome to T-Mobile. Literally that scene. But yes, JB, do you want to kick off with the notes, bro?
Yeah. So, I mean, we're going to try and cover a few questions throughout this, such as, are mobile phones killing our attention spans? Is there a decline in meaningful conversations? We can use our phone for practically anything: dating, shopping, alarms, social media, calendar, reading, music, GPS, you name it. So why would we want to get rid of it? We will look into that too. Is it possible to live without a smartphone? Are our postures suffering? Just about got there. And upgrading your phone, when is it actually worth it? So yeah, basically, I mean, I guess I can start by saying, do I think smartphones are worth it? do I think we're using them too much? In short, I think yes, and there are ways in which we can limit the use of our smartphones. I don't think we should get rid of them completely. In fact, yeah, we can start with that actually, because I recently went through a phase of thinking, do you know what, should I actually get rid of my smartphone completely? Now, a lot of people listening might think, mate, why would you want to get rid of your smartphone? I think it's simply because I use it far too much, man. It's pretty much a freaking addiction at times. Like, we spoke about on social media, the social media podcast, how I've got a rule of social media, and that's made my life better, I think. But I still use it way too much because most of my time is spent on YouTube and WhatsApp. Which is technically not a bad thing.
Nah, it could be an educational thing as well, if you think about it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I just think I'm using them too much. I feel like I could substitute a lot of my time with stuff more productive, such as reading books or doing side projects or whatever, which is what I do actually want to do. So yeah, like, when I was thinking about getting rid of it completely, I was just like, is it really worth it? Is it really honestly worth getting rid of a smartphone, which, you know, it does come with so many useful things. And I thought, what are the things I can live with, and what can I live without, and what is too convenient for me? And for me, the reason I decided not to get rid of it was purely because of four things. GPS, which, oh my God, I use way too much, and it's just far too convenient. Online banking as well. I know you can do that on a laptop, but like when you're out with your friends and stuff and you want to transfer money quickly here and there, doing everything on your phone is just so much easier. Email as well. I put that down, but I mean, I guess that could go. I could live without it, but it just, I can,
Depends on the circumstance.
Yeah, it depends on the circumstance. Like, I don't know, if you're getting emails about job interviews and stuff, you want to know about this stuff urgently so you can reply quickly, etc., etc. And music, again, another one I was kind of on the fence with, but it's so convenient, man. Like when I'm cooking food and I've got my little Bluetooth speaker going, I can just hook it up and I'm having a little sing song. Do you know what I mean? It's
for real.
It's good, man. So like those were the four main things. I realized I probably could live without WhatsApp because I know who my real friends are, and I can just do texts and phone calls. That's fine. Sound like an old man, don't I? Gambling apps as well. I mean, I could live without that. Like, I want to get rid of gambling out of my life completely anyway. YouTube, another one that's tough, but I feel like if I got rid of that, then I could watch it on my laptop, so that's fine. A camera as well, again, another tough one, but I feel like I don't really take enough photos when I'm out and about to really care enough. And also, like, I don't know, booking train tickets and stuff, I can do that on my laptop too. So yeah, man, it's just one of those things really. I think I think I do need my smartphone because it's far too convenient. So yeah, man. What about you? What do you think?
Well, for me, if I think that they're killing our attention spans a little bit, yes, I would have to say yes, because we live in a society now where everything is just done on the phone, bro. Half the people that I know don't even need to work on a computer. They can work on their phone on the go from the comfort of their own home. There's so many features that a phone could bring. Whereas compared to before when we used to roll with like the Blackberries and the Sony Ericssons, compared to now,
the days.
it's just like developed so many shortcuts. Like, look at it like this: when we go out on a night out and we need to order a cab, instead of having to put our hand out to be like, "Oh, mate, can you give us a lift home?" Blah 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 and stuff. You just go on an app, and then in the space of
That's
5
another
minutes.
one I did mention. That's another one.
Uber is a mad thing, and like
Yeah.
everything that you mentioned as well, like to do with the social media. It depends on the aspect of it. Like we were talking about, for example, let's say you're a, I don't know, you're an influencer, or you want to keep up to times with something, then yeah, you could do that. But then there's also other ways you could do it, maybe by following newsletters instead, or like reading local papers to do with it instead of actually having to use the use of a phone. But this is where it gets complicated, because using the phone allows you, like I mentioned before, just so many different shortcuts. Emails, instead of having to go on your computer, or even like, I don't even know anybody that still uses fax. If you use fax, yeah, then you're just doing madness out here. But like literally just send messages on the space of your phone. It could be an emergency, a literal emergency, and by the use of a smartphone compared to like a standard Nokia or a Sony Ericsson that hasn't even got that functionality, you're going to be, putting yourself at ease. It could be a big risk that you're not willing to take, and what they're going to be
what
like.
Kind of emergency? What
So let's say, for example, let's say in terms of university, for example, we're both studying and we can't get into uni today, and okay, I have to email the lecturer and CC them and like the board of studies or something like that. Instead of calling them, you can't get through to them, you can send an email, and that would be like your receipt of proof that you actually did try to contact them. And if they tried to mitigate against you or say something, for example, you can use your phone to actually show as proof to say, oh, I actually sent this email, here's the proof. And then people could actually say, yeah, we could send an email. But let's say you're on the go, you haven't got your computer, your phone can do that for you. GPS is another big one. Half the times that I'm on the motorway and I'm trying to get off at the correct exit and I can't remember by looking at the signs, I use Waze or I use Google Maps, and it saves my life. It's just so convenient. But I think it's just the way that the phones are being used now as like a tool on social media and in certain like circumstances, which I'm about to elaborate a little bit later on. But it's just, I mean, it's a bit,
It's a good point. I think this is why I think we've come up with the question of, are we using them too much instead of, are they worth it? Because ultimately smartphones are worth it, man. Like, they do things, and it'd be interesting to hear some other opinions. Like, maybe people are living without them completely, but yeah, like I feel like to us there are too many things that they do offer which are far too convenient and help us in life. But yeah, the question is, are we using them too much? Because I personally think that we are, and sometimes we can talk about phones in such a way that is such like a status symbol. Now, do you know what I mean? Like, I was watching a good video recently about how like cars used to be like the status symbol, like the massive status symbol, and they still kind of are, but it's also coming down to technology now and what headphones you own and what phone you have and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And we live in like an era of upgrades now where things have been released every year, for example by Apple, like the new iPhone 10, iPhone 11, blah blah blah. I don't even know what the latest one is. I can't remember either.
I think it's 11 Pro something, I don't know.
Yeah, but like people upgrade them when they don't necessarily need to.
Yeah,
and like, so I own like a Huawei phone at the moment. Don't hate on me, I know it's a Chinese phone and they're getting bad luck right now. Save that for another podcast, innit? But yeah, I got it like 3 years ago. I paid like £200 for it, and I pay like £10 a month for it on SIM now, and it does me completely fine. And I think I've come to realise myself, I only need YouTube, WhatsApp and phone calls and GPS and the other things I described. And I don't need like a really high performant phone to have those things, Yeah.
I'm glad you brought out that upgrade thing, because bro, imagine I was using the S5 until since when did I get the S5? Back in first year of college, and
That is an old school phone.
That is
bro.
old school. I've still got it now, and I still use it for music, which is handy, of course, because smartphone, downloading music and that. I didn't recently upgrade it until 2 years ago, for an iPhone 7, not like an iPhone X or anything. And then only recently, last year, I just got this iPhone 8, because like we were talking about the upgrades and everything, I don't care about this flashy thing, bruv. I don't care about how many cameras the phone's got. I don't care about this 3D touch on the app. I was happy with the iPhone 8 because it does everything I want it to do. It's got a faster processor compared to the 7. Plus, it's got a button. Oh my god, bruv. Touch smartphones now, they don't even have buttons anymore. Some of them have got obviously they've got for example, some of the Android phones, you've got the 3 different shapes, back, forward, and the home button, and you've got them 3 buttons there that are touchscreen. But then now some of the phones don't even have a button. Look at the new iPhone 11. I would hate using that phone because
I don't even know what it looks like.
It's just literally
it's got no buttons.
Yeah, on the iPhone, it's got a center button right in the middle of the phone that you can use as the home button. On that, you have on the new iPhone, it's just got a little white thin bar that you have to swipe up to change between windows and stuff. I would find it so annoying because I've got to swipe up now when I could just press a home button and for example, let's say I'm watching something, I want to close all these windows, press the button, clear it, that's it. Whereas for this, you've got to swipe up, you've got to put your finger in a certain position of the phone, you've got to clear it. I just think it's really annoying. No offense to anyone that's got that phone, obviously, you do you, and if you're cool with that phone, that's fine. But for me, in my opinion, I think it's a load of bullshit, honestly. I think it's so annoying that the how phones have changed. I remember when we had our Samsungs back in the day, and even you saying the BlackBerry's a smartphone? Yeah, back in the time, the BlackBerry was a bit of a smartphone,
wasn't
it?
Of course it is.
You got your keypad, you got your touch screen, you got your buttons and stuff, and that was cool back then. But now I think it's just to do with this whole sort of fashion, and of course software and technology is always expanding. But it's just the whole fact that we went from a phone that had buttons to now a phone that you have to literally use 3 fingers to swipe up and things, and I just think it's a bit ridiculous in my opinion.
There you go, run over Apple, take notes. Take notes.
Bring back the button.
No, that's again, you made some good points, man. And I do think as well there are very good reasons for upgrading your phone. I don't want to sound like I'm hating. If you have to upgrade your phone, you have to. But I feel like there are 3 questions that you need to ask yourself, which is, A, can you afford it? Because oh my god, you see people that are living paycheck to paycheck and they own a fucking iPhone 10 or 11 or whatever the hell
I know.
And I'm like, how much do you pay a month? And they're like £70. And I'm like, why? What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you paying for?
Pay half of that and put the extra half that you've just saved into
savings
an ISA or something. Yeah.
More time, they're paying £70 for not even 3 minutes. They're paying for unlimited
Wait,
data.
3 minutes?
For example, they're paying £70, and sometimes it's not even you got your minutes, texts, and 4G.
Did you mean gig?
Yeah. It's not even. Yeah, it's not even free. Some of it's not even free or unlimited, for example. And I'm thinking, oh my god,
that's true. That is a good point.
I can never pay that amount of money.
Yeah. I'm paying £70 a month for an iPhone, which is only giving me 2 or 3 gigs a day or some shit.
That's so bad.
Yeah. But people do it. Fair play to the likes of Apple, who have just marketed their product so incredibly well. But so I think the other 2 questions you should ask yourself. So if you can't afford it, to answer that one, don't buy the freaking phone. Get something cheaper and actual wage.
Exactly. Something that's easier for you as well. Don't overcomplicate yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And also ask yourself, how is your current device holding up? Don't be lulled into the pressures of buying a new phone because you have to, and it's a status symbol like we spoke about earlier. Just, how is your current phone? Like I said before, I'm currently using a phone from 2017, and all right, the screen's a bit dirty, but I can probably clean it, and it'll probably be good as new or something. Yeah, and it's working fine. I'm holding it now actually as I speak, and it's sometimes it can be a tad slow, but my attention span isn't that freaking bad. That's another topic. We'll go into that shortly. My attention span isn't that bad to, because an app didn't load in 0.5 seconds quicker than this guy's iPhone does. It's not going to make me spend £800 on a new phone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how's your current device holding up? Is it all right? Is it doing what you truly need it to do? And if not, then okay, fair enough. There probably is a case of buying a new phone. And lastly, is the difference actually worth it? You know, I think the main selling point now for phones is the camera. And you can maybe disagree with that, but you find like the only main difference now in phones is that you know, they've got an extra camera, like you were saying before, and that seems to be like really appealing to consumers. But to me, it's not.
You could just buy a Nikon or a Canon camera, something that's cheaper as well, and that is an actual camera that focuses all on the aspects that you want to use it, for example, and then on
Well,
top of it...
the thing is that I feel like if you have an iPhone 8 or a 7 or whatever, I feel like the camera's good enough anyway.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good enough camera. I mean, if you want to, like, you know, get a phone upgrade and then it just happens to be, for example, like, you know, a phone with an extra camera and you're like, oh, you know what, I'm going to start exploring this now, I'm going to start using it, then okay, that's understandable, isn't it? But, oh gosh, it's just a bit... It is a bit mad. It is a bit mad.
So I'd say those are the three main things. Is it holding up well, and is the difference really worth it? Otherwise, you're just going to be spending a shitload of money, which you might regret when you're old. And there you go.
It's literally...
But yeah, let's switch it up a little bit. Let's talk a bit more about like attention spans, because I think this was one of the main reasons why I was thinking about getting rid of my smartphone, is because like I find myself not very present in the moment sometimes, and I'm one of those people that gets distracted very freaking easily by their phone. Like I tend to check it a lot, and I've got this thing called the Twitch. Now the Twitch is something which I found out about from one of a content creator called Matt Devella, and he brings on this guy called Anthony Ongaro.
Yeah.
And he speaks about something called the Twitch, which is the idea of when you pick up a phone, necessarily need up the phone when you can have a break instead.
Yeah.
You know, whether that's when you're at work or waiting for a friend, waiting in the line at the check. You know, we tend to pick up our phones and use them.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, the idea is that we need to be more present. Oh, I say me. And yeah, I definitely suffer from that. And yeah, where am I going with this? Just basically like, my general attention span was just a bit lower, I find. Like, I remember one time I was coming out of a train station and my brother was meeting me there, and I walked straight past him. Yeah. And he didn't say anything to me because he wanted to just see what I do. I walked straight past him. Apparently I looked right at him as well, but because I was on my phone...
Oh, wow.
Hadn't it? Because I was on my phone and just my mind was trying to multitask. I didn't even notice him. It was mad, and that's just like one small example. But one thing I do at work now is turn off notifications, and I'm actually put my phone in my bag completely.
Yeah, the same with me. The only time, well, I don't actually put my phone in my bag, but I turn off the notifications and I put the haptics on like off, so I don't like hear a vibration of a notification coming through, even if I do. I mean, the only time I would probably use my phone would be in the morning to like let work know, or if I'm going to be coming late, or examples like this here and there, or I'm just like 5 minutes away or something like that.
Yeah.
Or on top of it, like what I've recently started to do for like lunch, instead of going on my phone to watch YouTube, I actually stay on my work laptop, for example, have my lunch, and then go back to it and just like read like something on BBC Sport or the news, or maybe watch like a video that's a little bit more like educational, because I'm on my break and I don't want to be too serious, so I can have a little bit of fun and watch whatever I want and stuff, like some football stuff or anything. But
that's fair enough. Yeah.
I have noticed that like I have had this Twitch thing as well myself, because I've got, for example, like, you know, I do the YouTube thing and then I follow a lot of people and to do with the Pokemon community as well, and I'm trying to keep up to date with like what's been going on. I always feel the need to go on Twitter, refresh, check my phone. Oh, I've just not posted something. Bearing in mind I have the notifications on anyway, but yet I'm still waiting to see if it happens. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit weird.
Yeah.
And like I feel that I was looking at myself recently, I was like, I don't need to be doing this, man. And then I was just thinking, God, it really is taking over. And then obviously when I started to implement the change, I've noticed that now instead I tend to use my phone more for like, you know what, if the notification comes up, it comes up. That's it. I don't need to bother myself because I'm just going to be working myself out to think, oh, why isn't it coming through? I need to catch up with this. When really, these lot have the power to like post when they want to, so I can find out whenever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point, man. It's the exact same for me, but for freaking WhatsApp messages. Honestly, like I'm just I'm sitting there, and when I'm bored or something, or if I've got a quick break, I get the twitch and I look at my phone. Like, is there anything there?
The twitch.
What we're doing, man? Like, if the message is there, it's there, isn't it?
Yeah, it hasn't been sent yet. You're looking for it. It's like, what the hell's going on? No,
yeah,
I feel you. Yeah.
So ultimately, I just want to be a bit more present. Like, you know, I mentioned how even standing in a queue at a shopping line or something, you tend to pull out your phone, or do you know what I mean? Just be a bit more present in the moment, really, and just
I get you.
Because our screen times, this is another thing. Our screen times are so large. I think the average screen time for a young adult, I think it was, is just under 5 hours. That's a lot of time.
Oh my god,
man.
You know what? Yeah,
like it's per day, by the way.
Yeah, that's funny you say that because you know what? I've got this screen time on my phone now, and I'm looking at it, and I'm going to do a live one for today. This is bad, man. You see, you know, ever since I've started working from home now, I've noticed that I've started to be on my phone a little bit more. Today, phone average screen time 6 hours. So I've done 2 hours of social networking, 1 hours of games, and 1 hours of entertainment. And it's mainly been 8-ball and WhatsApp, like the two things that I can't live without. I love it, man. It's so good. I'm in the gold league right now. I'm trying to get some coins in it. Come on, man.
Should we do a podcast on that?
Oh yeah, that'll be the next one. The success of running an 8-ball account. But yeah, you're right about the screen time thing because seriously, man, it's just like something.
That's a long time. That's a long time. Just think if you half that amount,
I know
what other stuff you could get done, like reading.
I know. I mean, like, you know what the thing is? I think this is intermittent with me because sometimes, like, when I'm not on my phone, I'm either like writing a script, or I'm reading, or I'm watching a video on the computer, or I'm doing some other like homework or background knowledge. And then I notice that I'm not on my phone as much compared to the day, and I've got much more battery power, bro. Like. Yeah. I don't have to worry about charging. Like, I remember there was one day that I just was so focused, I was doing everything, and I still had about like, obviously you're going to be using your phone a little bit, I still had about like 70% of battery left for the rest of the day, and I didn't even have to worry about charging my phone till the next day because I still had a lot of battery for it. Whereas for today,
that's a good battery, you know.
Yeah, it's a good battery for now. Thankfully, I got an upgrade, thank God. But then that's another thing. Get an upgrade to get better battery. But like looking at my phone today, I'm on 18%, bro. I mean, to be fair, it is 8:37 right now, but like. Damn, it's just a bit like, wow.
It's drained quickly.
It is quickly. I mean, something to look at about phones nowadays as well. It's just the whole gist of like, you know, trying to keep up the times, like we were saying. Like, you know, you got all these people that are on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. You've got like younger audiences now that want to catch up with celebrities, and they want to get a nice phone, they want to get a nice selfie with the girlies and the boys and that, and they want to keep up with the trends and everything. But then at the same time, when they look back at it later on in our society, if they think about it in like 20 years down the line when they're married, they're going to be looking at it like, wow, if the phone was like that back when I was at my age, what's it going to be like 20 years time? Like, what was the biggest phone when we were young? Probably the BlackBerry, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And now we're getting
when you say when we were young, like what?
Secondary school.
Oh yeah, BlackBerry.
Everyone had a BlackBerry.
I think the iPhone started to take off around sort of year 10 or 11 or something.
Yeah, when the 3G came out, the iPhone 3S or 3G came out, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then everyone was just onto it. And now obviously we're a bit older, you know, times have changed. We've got like iPhones, Huawei's, Samsungs and everything. It's all different, but I don't remember, like, when we go out, I notice as well, like, from our friendship group as well, sometimes, because we're really social, we don't tend to always go on our phones. The only time we go on our phones is if we're, like, sending, like, a stupid voice note in person, and then we want to send it in the group, or, like, a funny photo. And then apart from that, I think that's really good for us as well, because, you know, we're at that age now where we're all working, and, like, you know, everyone's sitting down in an office or in their, you know, their work environment, and they're too busy getting on with everything, and then they're looking at their phone. But then when they go out, they don't adapt that sort of, like, phone habit. Do you know what Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I think that's really good.
I think you make a good point. I think for our group, actually, we're I haven't really seen many problems, to be fair. But yeah, on that topic, actually, I find myself telling people off when they're on their phones and talking to me. I fucking hate it. I absolutely hate it. I honestly can't even tell you. Like, it really grinds my gears. I think it's just a complete show of disrespect.
Yeah.
I'm talking to you and you're looking down at your phone. Like, look at me, man. What are you doing?
You're meant to be having a
What's so important on your phone right now?
I get you.
What's so important on your phone right now that you can't even freaking look at me? Like, it better be a freaking...
Get the notification, save it for later, innit?
Yeah. Like, it happened to me quite recently. I won't say a name, but I was just like, get off your fucking phone, man. Come on.
You know what? It's funny you say that because I was on the train the other day, travelling, and this is another thing. Let me bring it up first. I'm on the train travelling, I'm talking to someone, and then they just put their flipping AirPods in their ears, bruv, and they play music. I'm like, what's that all about? That's another thing as well. You're talking to someone, they put their flipping... Oh, I don't know why I'm getting wild out about it. They put their flipping headphones... They put their bloody headphones in their ears, and they're making man mad. No, I'm joking. But seriously, yeah. It's like, wow. We've gotten to the time now where the wireless headphones are starting to take over the conversations that we're having with people in person. Like, another thing I noticed as well, on the train, this is a big thing now. Everyone's on their phone, bruv. I hardly see people having a conversation. More time... When I was on the overground the other day, I put before I went out, I wanted to put some new songs on my phone, so when I'm on the train I could listen to it. I left that phone at home, and you know what? That taught me a lot of things, because you know what? Sometimes it's just best to just sit in the seat and just chill, not have to use your phone or anything. And I was looking around, and there's people that are playing games. They're like, reading their hand Bible and the Quran and stuff. They're reading the news, or they're talking to someone. And I was just sitting there looking at people, and I was like, okay, this guy's come from work. He's probably got a business meeting. Okay, she's probably chatting to her husband or something. But I'm like, wow. It's crazy how the whole social aspect back in the day was where people would be sitting on the train and it would be talking, and now everyone's on their phone. It was silent. Normally you'd expect a busy train to be busy and people talking and stuff, but now they're all quiet. Like the other day as well, when I came into the living room, I was sitting down and we were just watching the news, and then obviously a couple of my family members, including myself, we were all on our phones, and I was thinking, shit, man, even in my own yard as well. But then obviously we still talk and everything like that, but it was just a bit like, damn. I wanted to bring it up as well because I'm sure this is something we could all relate to in our households or different households as well, because it's just like ever since everyone's got a phone now, what are they looking at on the phone? What are they actually doing on the phone? That's
true. So again, you make some really good points, man. I think to address the point you made on the train, I think I do think it is very convenient to have a phone when you're on the train, though.
No, of course. It's a good thing to pass time on.
I think it is. Although, having said that, one thing I'm doing now is I'm not using my phone anymore, and instead I'm reading a book. I'm just trying to make my time, just trying to make more use of my time, basically.
Yeah.
Do something productive. Like, I'm going to be sitting down for an hour or whatever the hell it is, just work out a book and just read or something. There was one other thing you said as well, actually, which I used to think, but I changed my mind on it, which is, like, you see a lot of people on the train using phones, whereas it would have been different back in the day.
Yeah.
The reason I think differently, like I used to agree with that, the reason I think differently is because I think it was quite a lot, it used to be the same, but just with like a newspaper or something. I feel like a lot of people were just we're reading essentially.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know about conversation. I can't really say that's factual either, but I thought about it and I was like, do you know what? I saw a picture online. That was it, and it was like literally the whole bus. It was on a bus, and every single one of them was reading a newspaper. So yeah,
I think it does relate to like the sort of timing and aspect of it, because there are still quite a lot of people that jump on the train, and there's a lot of people that like to read books, the newspaper and stuff, and obviously they're not going to be engaging as much in conversation, but I think it's just mainly like what they feel their importance of their phone is. So like, oh, I really need to catch up on the news this morning. Cool, I'm going to do that. Oh, I need to send a business email. Oh, I'm going to do that. Oh, I need to check up on my my Instagram followers. Okay, do that. Do you know what I mean? It's just a bit...
Yeah.
Depends on people's perspective.
Would you prefer it if you were on a train talking to someone, or would you want to be left alone?
I think it depends who I'm with, though. To be honest, really, like let's say if I'm
Yeah,
with
true, true.
if I'm with you lot or someone else or like misses or anything, I'll chat to them, innit? I'd rather chat
Oh
to
yeah,
them.
yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Of
but
course.
like if there's some times where like for example, don't get it twisted, you're gonna be sitting there on the train with like whoever, and there's gonna be a period where you're not gonna be talking as well. You're just like dazing, looking out the windows or whatever and stuff like that. But personally, I would rather talk to someone, catch up on their day. How you been? How's your
Yeah.
March? What
No,
got with
that's
the
good.
coronavirus?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
literally.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Yeah, there was I was on the train last weekend coming back from Cheltenham Festival, and it was around 9 p.m. at night, and there were these two fellows around middle aged, maybe 40, 45 or something.
Yeah.
Um, very nice looking, very nice guys. Like, and these two, because the train was quite packed, you had these two young people that came on the train,
Yeah.
and the only two seats available were opposite these two middle-aged men.
Okay.
The two middle-aged men were like, "Oh, and yeah, take a seat, we don't bite, blah blah blah," and immediately the two young people pulled out their phones,
Oh.
and one of the middle-aged men, he called them out on it, and he said, "Oh, come on, let's have a conversation. Let's, put the phones away." And it started off quite jokey, and I don't know how they reacted to it, but
Yeah.
they spent the rest of the train journey having a really meaningful conversation. Like I was listening to it
Yeah.
when I was with them, and I was like, "Well, yeah, fair play." Even if they're chatting bollocks or they're
Yeah,
chatting
they're
stuff which I
waffling.
don't necessarily
just-
agree with,
yeah.
they're having a meaningful conversation,
Exactly.
and I think the young people appreciated that as well.
Gave them an
So yeah, I
insight.
can definitely see why you'd say that.
Yeah. It definitely gives them an insight to like not having to use it. Like I remember I speak to a couple people now that they take ages to reply to a message, for example, or they may not have caught up with this latest thing because they just don't use their phone anymore. They don't feel the need to use it apart from like an emergency, or if they need to contact someone, because they could have a snazzy phone. They can have like an iPhone or whatever, a Samsung or Huawei or whatever it is, yeah. But then they just feel like times are changing now. They don't give a crap about using their phone anymore. They just want to engage.
Yeah, that's it. And we're very social creatures. It's what we want to do. We want to chat and
Exactly.
have a meaningful conversation or whatever. But yeah, man. Let's talk about freaking posture. I'm worried about my posture, Raf.
Tell me, Wagwan.
Especially as a tall person.
Yeah.
Like, because when you're on your phone and you're on the go, or just if you're at your desk looking at your phone and you're angled at a certain position, right? And yeah, man, I've got the statistic here. Hold on, let me pull it up. I've got it on the notes.
Let me check the statistics.
The statistics. That's a big shack in it. Oh gosh, I had it here. It was a really interesting stat actually. Oh yeah, that's it. So if you're looking down at your phone right now,
Yeah.
your spine angle is equivalent to an 8-year-old sitting on your neck.
Huh?
That's insane, isn't it?
What?
Yeah, it's insane.
Oh my
man.
god. So
That's-
like if I'm
yeah,
sitting in my
that's-
chair now and I look at my phone and bend it down, it's like, what is it, an 8-year-old spine?
Like it's the equivalent of an 8-year-old sitting on your neck.
Jeez, that is mad.
That's mad, isn't it? It's pretty bad considering that we spend an average of, almost 5 hours a day on our phones as well. So we've got 5 hours a day of an 8-year-old child sitting on our neck.
That's really bad, man. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
gonna lie.
true.
I did notice a couple of obviously because we both work in IT and stuff. We're always sitting at the computer and everything like that. Let alone is probably a little bit bad for our posture as well. And I noticed
There are
that
ways we can sit correctly though.
Yeah, definitely with the back straight and everything, and the, like shoulders back and everything as well.
Yeah.
But I noticed that I started to do a couple of exercises, and my posture was like getting better, and I was feeling my body to be much more comfortable. So when I sit down, like I used to get these really bad lower back pains, and then I started doing these exercises, and thank God for that, man. Like literally, the back pain just disappeared because I was having these back pains. It wasn't like a intermittent thing. I was having it for about a good couple of months. I would probably say about 3 or 4 months, and it would really pain me to like bend down to like when I'm in the shower or something, or if I'm bending down to put even my socks and shoes on. And I was thinking, you know what? I think it's because I'm sitting too much at the computer, and because when I'm slouching in my chair looking at my phone, I was thinking, right, I can't be going through this, man. We're still young. Do you know what I mean? So I'm glad that you brought that up because
Yeah,
that is mad. 8-year-old sitting. Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
like yeah, exactly. Like I find myself I want to do those exercises you mentioned, by the way. I feel like I should do them.
I'll tell you what they are after. It's no problem. I'll send it to
Yeah,
you.
yeah, go for it. But yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, so there's another statistic as well, which is in North America. In North America, around half of the residents suffer from myopia, which is a condition where people can only see objects clearly, which are close to them, but objects far away. But objects far away are really blurry. And myopia used to be, but so people only used to suffer. I think what's the stat? Yeah, it was only 25% of people in North America would suffer from myopia in the 1970s.
Mm.
Now that's escalated to half of the people in America, and that's been accelerated by the use of mobile phones, and
Oh my god.
they're staring at something which is so close
is
to them,
mad.
and focusing on text and stuff. Looking at
Yeah.
objects far away would be really blurry. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand. I mean, I can kind of relate to that a little bit because I am short-sighted and I can't see from far, and I've been wearing glasses for like a long time. But that's more to do with I don't think it's to do with well, hopefully it's not to do with the phones because I wasn't like that when I was younger. But still, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, that was it, man. That was it. So yeah, like, it just comes back to the original question of are we using it too much?
Are they affecting our posture and health? Like, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I
crazy.
don't want to have the equivalent of an 8-year-old sitting on my neck.
Nah,
I don't have myopia at a young age.
Yeah, that is mad. That is mad. Especially when you're young. Oh my god. Putting me
That's
on
it,
weight.
man.
That is crazy.
But this is the thing. Like, everyone is using them now, and it's yeah. Just one bit of advice I'd give, because I'm starting to do this more myself now, is have a look in the mirror and just have a look at your posture. And if you find it's bad, rule number 1 of Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life book is stand up straight with your shoulders back.
Mm-hmm.
Keep practicing it because it's very important. It keeps you in a dominant position. You look confident, and it's natural. So yeah.
I like come with the good life advice. I like that.
That's it, bro.
Oh gosh, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
it is a mad one. It is a mad one. Phones are
Yeah.
just, you know, we look at phones nowadays as like an object of evidence as well, and you know, it's used in like criminal offences as a main tool, and like, you know, the different things it can do to, like, you can create traffic with a phone. Like, you can literally, like, you know, by the power of using a phone and accessing like a VPN, you could be using a different web address and IP address, and like with phones you could literally just, it's like we were talking about, you can send large amounts of money in the space of seconds. You can order an Uber, you can flip in. Phones are a great tool, but at the same time they're a very dangerous one, because one video can get sent out, loads of people can see it. Look at all these social media websites now. You got people like I'm Just Bait, yeah, who's actually turned his like funny page into like a business, and he's doing good for it as well, because he's actually like promoting awareness about, you know, to do with natural disasters and like, you know, health and everything, which is good. But at the same time, like, you know, you got people out there that are trying to hack it, and if they gain access to these credentials, then that's it. It's very dangerous. It is dangerous. Like, there's times where sometimes I actually put my phone on airplane mode when I'm going into like a weird area and I don't trust the surroundings, because if someone infiltrates your phone and they take your credentials, bro, that's it. You're done out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point, man. Yeah, my mum was telling me a story recently of some old man. I think he was in his 90s or something, and he had mobile banking, but he didn't realise like what he needs to do to keep safe online and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And he, over the phone, just gave information to some people that shouldn't have the information,
Yeah.
and they stole like 90 grand from his account.
Oh my days.
Luckily, he did get it back.
Oh, thank God.
Like, yeah, but it wasn't actually through the bank directly. He had to get someone else involved, and he almost did lose out.
It's like a big
yeah,
headache,
yeah.
isn't it? Yeah, mad headache.
That's it. It goes to show, man. You have to be secure as well.
Definitely, I agree.
Yeah, mobile phones can be dangerous, but you just have to
Use them
be aware of it. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
there you go, man. I think that's been good. I think I've said everything I have to say.
Yeah, same with me. I've checked my
I
notes
think-
and everything. Yeah, all good.
Yeah. So I feel like to wrap up then, are we using phones too much? I think yes, but there are ways to limit our use of the mobile phones.
Mm.
And overall it can improve your health, like we spoke about just a few minutes ago with your posture and um and you know, not having an 8-year-old sit on your neck.
God.
You know, you can substitute it with reading books or doing anything else productive, a side project or whatever.
Go outside, man. Get some... All right, maybe not now because coronavirus and that, but go outside and get some fresh air.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, I feel like that they are definitely worth it.
Mm.
Like we said at the start, I feel like there are things which are far too convenient, and ultimately I don't want to live in a cave. And you know, I do want to make use of these things, but we just have to limit our use of them and be more present. Maybe stop
100%.
using your phone so much in when you're walking around.
Mm.
Put it in your pocket and just live life, man. Like try and
Yeah.
stop using your phone in like checkouts, just to kind of build the habit of not using it.
Precisely.
And like you said, use screen time apps. That's something I'm going to do as well.
Mm.
And yeah, man. But you know, let us know what you guys think as well. If you think you're using your phone too much, using them is too much is good, and it helps us out in various aspects of our life. But yeah, I think that's it for me with regards to the wrap up. What do you think, Ralph? Have you got anything else?
Yeah, all good, bro. Just if you guys ever do have any questions regarding anything, then just drop them in the comments down below. But yeah, I think we're all good to go, broski. Hit him with the outro.
Sweet. Well, yes, there we go, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've taken something from this. I definitely have.
So have I.
And yeah, man, then make sure to drop a like, subscribe, all that good stuff on YouTube, and you can obviously find us on Spotify and iTunes. Next week, I think we're going to be speaking about the coronavirus and should we be worried about it, which I think would be a very interesting topic given the times that we're currently living in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about it, man. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you pretty soon.
See you later, people.
Peace out.
Right.